Thanks for staying tuned to your station, the African Independent Television, and welcome to your program, Security Watch Africa. On this program, every week, we'll bring you that information you need to keep your life safe and secured. Welcome to the program today. My name still remains Patrick Habambu. You'll be wondering where we are today. We are not, as usual, in the studio. We are from a location of an international interest currently in Nigeria, Borno State, precisely in Kunduga local government area. And here is Alua Dam, where the international magnitude standard just occurred, where over 60,000 people were displaced, and is still counting because search and rescue is still continuing, while stabilization operation taken by the Nigerian military is still ongoing. Yes, I must say that since we arrived in Borno State, Maiduguri precisely, and its environment, it's been commendation galore for the officers and men of the Nigerian Army and the entire theater command, generally, particularly talking about Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, commanded by Major General Waidi Shuaibu. So much has been done to prevent people from dying in this situation. But we've been here going around, and we decided to come to the source of where the incident started. Behind me, it's the part of the dam that caved in, and the flooding, which started from the main source and proceeds from here. This water leads into Maiduguri, and we can see the disaster that it has caused. Yes, but I have with me Security Watch Africa, Shuli Daniels, the defense correspondent, who will tell us in brief, in summary, what she has experienced since she arrived here. Yeah, Shuli, please join me.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you with me here. Yes, now before you left Abuja to come here, you must have heard something about what happened in Borno State. Tell us, what did you hear?
At least I was able to get the information that lives have been lost, and then what the Nigerian military, particularly the Nigerian Army, had done so far to make sure that they curtail or rescue people that are involved in this disaster.
I got caught up in it. Yeah, getting to Borno State, what have you seen so far? Because we've been here for some days. What have you seen so far?
I must tell you that one thing I noticed about the people of Borno State is their resilience. They are, despite the situation on ground, you could still see them, happy. You see children in the water, even swimming, inside the water and all that. They are. I must say, they are resilient people, and it is a very good step for us Nigerians, particularly, to emulate.
Okay, but in talking about the impact, you can see that the impact has been so devastating. Just starting from here, innocent-looking place, but see the effect over there. What would you say? Because we have gone around some of those areas affected. What would you say?
I must tell you that it's a very devastating one and an emotional one as well. It is not something we pray for any time, to happen, but it has happened. This is a natural disaster. Nobody can, actually say when it's going to happen. But then again, from what the information, we are on the streets actually of Maiduguri, and we could see the people, chanting, saying that the Nigerian Army has done so much in making sure that the Nigerian Army has been able to rescue them, to where they are, making sure that their lives are safe, even providing relief materials, food, water to them. I can't even say some of the things they were saying, because in fact, you could hear them chanting, "Long live the Nigerian Army." It's even at going to the point saying that they prefer the Nigerian Army to be the one to be handing them these relief materials that are being provided to them from other, sectors of probably the civilians or even the government of Maiduguri, because they trust the Nigerian Army more than any other person.
All right, yes, we had that, but anyway, I know that the Nigerian Army, in their usual way, sacrifice to serve the people. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming. Okay, yes, you've had her there, and she had given a brief account of what she has experienced so far. Yes, we'll be bringing you the report she put together of the day-to-day account of what she has seen so far. Sit back as we bring you this report.
When in the morning of Tuesday, the 10th of September 2024, the news of massive flooding which has affected major parts of the Maiduguri metropolis and parts of Konduga and Jere local government areas of Borno State broke out worldwide. The safety and well-being of people living in those areas were of paramount concern of well-meaning individuals and organizations. The reports of search and rescue efforts of officers and soldiers serving in the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hedinkai, led by the Theater Commander Major General Wahidi Shuaib, was the silver lining coming out from the situation in Maiduguri. To find out how these floods started and how the Theater Command was able to respond quickly to rendering assistance in the search and rescue operation of the flooding, Security Watch Africa's team visited Borno State, and the first point of call was at the headquarters Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, where the team was received by the Theater Commander and his principal officers. A briefing of the activities of the Theater Command in the last 72 hours was given.
This flooding led to the loss of lives and property, as well as the displacement of over 200,000 people. Operation Hadinkai responded by activating its contingency plan under the auspices of Flood Sanity 2 to provide military aid to civil power through disaster relief operations to rescue trapped residents in the quickest possible time in order to alleviate the pain and suffering of the people.
After the briefing, the Chief Executive Officer of Security Watch Africa, Patrick Akpambo, commended the armed forces, particularly the Nigerian Army, under the leadership of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, for raising up to the challenge of providing efficient and effective humanitarian services to the people.
I saw outside before coming in, me and my team, but saying this brief, because I know this is a brief briefing, and so sincerely speaking, I'm short of words. I can only say that God Almighty will continue to bless and strengthen the Theater Command and everybody that's involved in this operation, sir. Sincerely speaking, for me, I think that this is the worst flooding Nigeria has ever experienced. And gladly to note again that this is one that has come with so far lesser fatal casualties so far. But we just pray that it won't be bad. I said this because the prompt response by the Theater Command, led by the Theater Commander, rescued the situation. It could have been worse than this from what we saw, but we must thank God Almighty that He gave the wisdom, the strength, and the resource to actually do this. When I talk about resource, because I know mobilizing men who are supposed to be watchful over these bad boys and to come and do humanitarian support, and they also making sure that those bad boys do not even create problem. It's quite enormous.
In his remarks, the Theater Commander gave further insight on Operation Flood Sanity 2.
Just as you have witnessed from the brief, this is Operation Flood Sanity 2, meaning that we have conducted Flood Sanity 1 before, which was when Malam Fatori was flooded. That was when the theater conducted Operation Flood Sanity 1. So in essence, we already have that template. So when this one broke out, it's just to activate the contingency plan and we kick it starting. So you are still here, you are still going to go around. When you see things for yourself, you'll be able to judge the scale of the problem.
After the operational briefing, the team proceeded to see the situation on ground. The visiting team were received at the holding point of the operation by the headquarter Nigerian Army Logistics Base 1 of Operation Hadinkai, Colonel Manu Aliu, and the Chief of Civil Military Affairs of Operation Hadinkai, Navy Captain Abdullahi, who gave a brief highlight of the search and rescue operations.
For this week, the operation started on previous, but thank God we mobilize our resources together and we are doing what we are supposed to do. The major thing that we are doing is mobilization of vehicles, rocket vehicles that can enter this.
When we're moving with the talks, the people we had, what we need to do is to first and foremost look at how we evacuate the sick and the elderly, and of course the vulnerable, women and children, very important. So from that Tuesday, we will Wednesday, yesterday, and of course what we are going to do moving forward in the next 4 or 5 months.
Driving along the Muna Mafad Dikwa Road, several rescued persons were seen stretching throughout the road from the custom roundabout. At the custom roundabout, some of the rescued flood victims spoke on their experiences and the role of the military in their survival.
Muna iso ruwa har nan ina ne muka zo nan wajen muna kwance kuma muka ga masu ruwa ga yunwa ga wahala muna ciki sai an bada abu za a ba mu sai a ba mu daidai a ba wa'ansu a hana mu haka ake mana muna cikin wahala sosai yunwa.
The visibly impressed and excited citizens praised the Nigerian Army.
The Borno State government and the Nigerian Army have served a lot of people, and even though in our area, that College of Agric, we have seen a lot of Nigerian Army come with Borno State governor. They have served a lot of people, and actually they bring help to Borno State people.
We are here since on Monday night. The floods. We haven't seen anybody to rescue us except the army people, the Nigerian army. They are the first people that come and rescue us. Rescue the massive people like small children and women and all people. So and they still provide pure water for us in order to survive and some food. They are the only people that we see that help us.
To find out firsthand the source of the flooding, the team commenced their movement to Alu Dam. At the dam, the community head of Laujere spoke on how the flooding started.
Ruwan nan dama ya fi karfin mutum. Ruwan nan muna tarewa, muna ajiyewa buhu, yana wuce jejin buhu. Muna ajiyewa ranar Litinin kamar karfe 8:30 ya kare wannan ruwan. Mutane ba iyaka ya tafi da su. Da jirgi ne da komai mutane ba iyaka ya tafi da su. Har yanzu ba mu san da kan shi ba.
Highlighting further on the initial rescue effort of the troops, the commanding officer 222 Battalion Main, Lieutenant Colonel Joel Mohammed, took the team round the community, the first point of impact.
We got the first hit here, where the army quickly responded to that effect by ensuring all the locals and villagers moved by announcing, and the rescue mission began from this place. The gunboats were moved through this water side, as you can see, down up there, where we saw some fishermen and other people having issues. So what we need to do was to quickly see how we can possibly evacuate them, and that we did.
While rounding off the tour of the flood-affected areas, the team visited the quick response sick bay, where first aid treatment is administered to some of the flood victims who requires urgent medical attention.
Basically, what we are here for is life-saving first aid treatment. Life-saving first aid treatments. There are some other cases that come anyway. We'll just give them little palliatives, then send them to the next level. That's what we're really doing here.
On hand was the Acting General Officer commanding the 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Abubakar Haruna, who spoke further on the involvement of the host division.
Personally, I'm an IDP now because my house was also flooded. I had to leave my official residence back into the barracks. We have, during the period, been able to evacuate. The situation as at that time was that of evacuating whoever we can, however we could, wherever they are, if we were able to assess them. We were able to assess, and we have so far been able to evacuate from the assessment of the state government over 40,000.
It is obvious that the quick response initiative of the Northeast Joint Task Force Operation Hadinkai helped to provide succor to the Madugri flood victims. As stated by the theater commander, the troops acted in fulfillment of rendering support to civil authority. Shirley Daniels, Security Watch Africa.
Welcome back. Yes, you had a report by Shirley Daniels telling us what she has seen so far here in Borno State. We must say kudos to the officers and men of the Nigerian Army, particularly because all the services got involved, those serving in the theater command of Operation Hadinkai. We have the Navy team, we have the Air Force team there. They have been doing yeoman's job, and there have been some civilians who have assisted the civilian JTF and other services. They have worked to ensure that people are saved. And like the report said, over 60,000 people have been rescued. And the search and rescue operation is still going on, while stabilization is also ongoing. And that will bring us to the interview we had with the theater commander, Major General Wahidi Shuaibu, telling us of how they have been able to handle the situation so far. Sit back as we bring you this interview.
How were you able to, I know that the Army is always ready, so you have also demonstrated, but how were you able to mobilize these resources, both man and machine, to respond quickly, which helped to save a lot of lives?
That's one of the beauties of having a contingency plan, which you practice during times of when there's no crisis. And in the theater here, being that we are already on high alert, all those things are part. So immediately the orders was given, when flood sanity was activated, units know what to do. Then, of course, the flooding, first, the area recce was done by both the Nigerian Army UAV Command and the Nigerian Air Force, the air component here in the theater, to determine the extent of the crisis. That gives direction to know where you channel resources to. And that we now did. We got trucks from Damaturu in our sector 2 there, trucks from Mongunu, as well as boats from Baga, we move all these assets here in record time to ensure that we're able to deploy to provide what we're supposed to do, which is the evacuation of people, or trapped residents. While the boats were moving deep into the streets and crannies, the trucks were moving those ones to safer areas where they can now go to temporary shelters. So these are the things we did to provide support to the people.
We interacted with some people, and we were told that that first night the flood was so massive, but you were able to galvanize your men and yourself. You led from the front, charging through the water to be able to rescue some people. Can you tell us how was the scene like? Unfortunately, we're not here, but can you tell us how it was?
Yes, the worst areas were the flyover. That was the custom areas going to Mona there. The flood was already reaching. The bridge you see before you get to that place was already filled to the brim. And luckily we have the Oshkosh trucks. They are very, very strong trucks that at the time we were charging through that water, the water level was at the screen, windscreen of the vehicle. And the drivers are experienced, they've been trained, and they were able to push through. If you see, most other trucks could not do that, but the Oshkosh truck were able to do that. We had those trucks, and those are the first ones we deployed to reach people that were trapped. And the drivers did very well, and we are lucky we had those trucks to be able to respond and meet the needs of the people. They were really trapped in that general area.
Has the state government cooperated with you in this? Because, of course, everything has assistance to them, but it's not your primary responsibility. But how are you working with them at this stage?
I must say that the military, in fact, all militaries all over the world, they provide military aid to civil authority, or to call it, yes, military assistance to civil authority. So what we did was just providing military assistance, a secondary role. There are lead agencies that did this. So, of course, they are doing their own. And being the first responders on the scene, because we have the access to do that, we did that. And now various agencies are now doing their own part to ensure that things is done. Of course, the government, the state government is doing very well. They're providing support to the people. And of course, as you can see, things went very well. Everything went seamlessly.
I guess this has set template for maybe other parts of the country, because even the NIMED, the agency concerned with prediction of flooding or rain, did warn that some states might fall victim of a similar issue. This seems to be a template that can be replicated in case if other areas. Is this something that people can, the other military formations, units can adapt to?
There are no two floods that are similar. Floods are flooding. Yes, you may have a quick response, maybe a template, but the assets you deploy are different. So even other floodings, depending on the scale of the flooding, are just general areas. I believe that what we've done here was something that can be replicated depending on the situation. There are no two situations that are the same.
What was the role of the Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Defense Staff in this? Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Defense Staff?
Of course, the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Army Staff have always provided strategic guidance to the theater. And the launching of Operation Flood Sanity was actually at their behest, that we must provide all assistance to ensure we reduce the suffering of the people and save lives as much as possible. So we must really thank the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, for providing the strategic guidance, the resources to enable the theater to be able to achieve what they achieved during Operation Flood Sanity.
Okay. Finally, some people will say you are drawing men to do the primary fight against these terrorists. Are you leaving it there, or you also have your plan there? And some of these people that have been evacuated, is it possible or is it not possible that some of all these bad boys could mix up with them? Is there anything you put in place to check all this?
The primary role of Operation Hadankai is to restore normalcy to the Northeast region to enable socio-economic activities thrive. That we have been doing. That's our primary responsibility. But in the event of any natural disaster of this scale, we are bound to respond just the way we did by launching Operation Flood Sanity. Our primary role is still going. There is enough troops on the ground to still manning the general aids to prevent law and to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order.
Yeah, welcome back. Yes, you had him there giving the account and actually acknowledging the inspirational direction from the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwambi Musa, and direct instruction from his boss, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Abiodun Lagbaja. We must say kudos to officers and men serving at the Theater Command Operation Hadinkai. Yes, of course, it's time to end the program, but let's bring you some sights and sound of some of the things we have seen so far. This our trip. Can see how people, young children, oblivious of what is happening, are just having fun and turning the bad situation into a situation of recreation. Sit back as we end the program. Join us again next week when we bring you another exciting edition, and follow us on all our social media platforms. Watch the previous editions of this program via our YouTube channel and give us feedback. And again, I must tell you that the countdown for the 18th Africa Security Watch Awards and Conference in Doha, Qatar is coming, and very soon all arrangements will be unveiled to those who are interested. Until next week when we come your way again, I say thanks for staying tuned and bye for now.
Thank you.